Hello. If you're listening to this, then you're studying astrology with me, or there's something I want you to know about astrology. and I want to talk about, like, for me, first of all, my name is Tyra, and I am a spiritual guiding coach. And I love helping women align with their life purpose using the power of ancient wisdom and the goddess centered lifestyle. And in particular, I love helping women learn how to use astrology in a practical way that supports the goddess centered lifestyle. And so, one thing about astrology that is very important, goes back to my introduction, is hey, y'all, we can't just listen to these horoscopes that astrologers do. Can't do it. Nope. You have to listen to it, and then you have to make a decision that you're going to apply it in some kind of way. And then after you make that decision, you go and apply it. You make a decision about how you're going to allow that astrology to guide your life. Okay. And so, um, when I was studying astrology, one of my teachers, the way she had me learning, well, not when, in my early days of studying astrology, one of my teachers was like, "Okay, if you're gonna learn astrology with me, you're gonna have to keep a journal." And I had to journal my transits and show her, I had to explain what the transit meant and how it played out. And that's how I was able to actually really understand astrology. The best way to understand astrology is to listen to the horoscopes, and I'll even say go listen to past horoscopes. So if someone is like, okay, this is the horoscope for, or this is what this transit means for you, and this is back in this year that I'm making this recording is 2023. This is back in 2022. This is what happened, and they probably would be speaking about it in the present. Like, okay, for Libras, this is what this is going to mean for you, but it happened in the past. Go back and watch those videos, and whatever they say is the meaning of that transit for Libras. It'll be a certain time of the year when it's happening. You want to look at your life. You want to remember, oh my gosh, that's how it played out in my life. Okay. And then that way you'll begin to see, and then listen to the ones that are talking in the present. Is what it means for you. And you have to track it to see how is it playing out. But when the person is given the astrology, say for instance, if you're listening to me, when I tell you what's going on, you just need to let one thing stand out, and then apply that in some kind of way. Make a decision, make a change, go in a certain direction. You know, rest. It might be like, don't do anything, just rest. You need to chill out and sleep or something like that. Whatever it is, you have to decide what you're going to do. You can't just listen to it and then eventually you're going to get exactly how that astrology came through. So I study my astrology all the time. Self astrology, studying yourself. Oh my gosh. I am my greatest case study because I am living this astrology. So that's partly why I share these kinds of recordings. So this one in particular is something that has me in awe. The first one that I'm going to talk about is Mars. It's ever since 2023, maybe, no, not 2023. This might be, yeah, sometime since 2020. I have noticed that Mars really beats me up whenever Mars is interacting with one of my planets. That's called aspecting. Whenever Mars is aspecting or interacting with one of my planets, I I get pain in the body. I remember the first time this happened, Mars was in Aries a few years back. And I was like, oh, yeah, baby, I'm excited. Mars in Aries. Well, my Venus is in Aries. As soon as Mars came into Aries, all of a sudden, I was like, I feel like my kidneys are hurting because Venus rules the kidneys. I was like, I don't know why my kidneys are hurting. Whoa, baby. let me tell you, I was like, I can't wait for Mars to get away from my Venus. And sure enough, once Mars moves far enough away from that planet, I'll be, it starts feeling better. And typically I'm like, I need Mars to go on ahead and get out of this sign. But I noticed in when was it? I can't remember. It was a few months back. Mars was in my moon sign, Taurus, and I got sick as all get out. I was like, do I have COVID? Oh my gosh, Mars beat my butt. I was like, oh man, every time. And see, I was kind of excited because my Mars is in Taurus too. And so I was like, oh, sorry about that. I have to keep a lot of timers. um, I was excited about getting my Mars return because I was like, oh, I'm gonna get my energy back because Mars is one of our batteries, to be honest with you. And we get a Mars return every 2 years. And so I was just like waiting because I was feeling so tired. I was so excited about Mars return. Oh my goodness. Mars wrecked me because my Mars, my Saturn, and my moon, they're all real close together right there in Taurus. I was like, I can't wait for Mars to get out of here. And so then I noticed recently Mars is in Leo. I have no planets in Leo. But I have just noticed, I don't know if it's my sensitivity with my going through menopause, because menopause has changed some stuff for a sister. I was like, why am I hurting with Mars in why am I hurting with Mars in Leo? So wherever Mars goes for me, I will notice that that part of the body that that sign or planet represents, um, I will feel something. And so when it went into Leo, I've noticed I cannot get rid of this back pain. Leo represents the lower back in particular. It might even represent the hair, but for sure the lower back. My lower back has been on fire. But for some reason, I'm not quite sure. Oh, yes, I do know. Duh, Tyra. Okay, so because I have planets in Taurus and actually in Scorpio, when Mars is in Saturn, it's there in a way that it's challenging. It's not, they're not exactly like, it's not giving easy energy. It's giving challenging energy, actually like fight kind of energy to those planets. And immediately, because my planets are early in Taurus, as soon as Mars moved into Leo, my knuckles on my right hand started hurting. I was like, am I typing too much? Is it something the way I'm holding my phone? What's going on? And I just noticed my knuckles and my fingers were hurting because it was hitting my Saturn. And Saturn has to do with the bones. And I thought, are you are you kidding me? You're kidding me. And I just have had so much pain in my body. Like it seems like I can't control it. Sometimes we thinking we old. No, baby, it's Mars hitting you up. Okay, it's Mars hitting you up. And so I said, okay. And honestly, y'all, immediately when I was having this weird pain in my knuckles on my hand, I was just like, what's Mars doing? And then I looked and I was like, oh, dang, Mars is hitting a sister up bad. And sure enough, once it moved far enough away from my moon, um, I started feeling better. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I forgot about Mars hitting up my ascendant. The ascendant in our chart is our body. And yesterday, I was just like, I am in, like, this pain has subsided. I'm having to take ibuprofen. I am having to do all kinds of stretches because it's like all throughout my muscles. And Mars is very much about muscles. It's all throughout my muscles. and just doing all the things to get some relief. And I'm like, why do I keep having a headache? And all of a sudden I sat up and I said, what is Mars doing? I need to check and see. I was like, I bet you Mars is aspecting my ascendant. And sure enough, I said, there it is. Mars is hitting up my ascendant. The ascendant is the body. And so I was like, I can't wait for Mars to be moved on because it's wrecking a sister. Oh my gosh. And I notice sometimes when I do readings for people, they'll be talking about pain, and I'll just be like, I can tell you when it's gonna end because Mars is moving on. Or, sometimes Mars is retrograde and it might be in one place for a while. And it's just like, you're gonna have to really take care of yourself. So that's something that I've noticed about Mars aspecting my planets. If you know astrology, the conjunction and the square, probably the opposition to, oh my goddess, rough, rough, rough. Okay. Now, you know what? Actually, I've also seen for other people, not for myself, but for other people, Mars can actually make it where you have to have a surgery too. I think I saw that with my niece. Okay. So the second aspect that I have found to be fascinating for me is the Jupiter conjunct my moon. So I have been going through a period of the eclipses in my first and seventh houses. And when I tell y'all these eclipses ain't no joke, it is like gutted me. It has made me like face all my demons. And um it's an offloading is how I describe this part of the eclipse. It wants to offload what is no longer serving you. And so I've just had to face so much stuff. It's been one of the most painful times in my whole entire life. And it's not because life is bad, it's just the internal world of mine has just been like, it's like I feel like this universal scoop is just coming down and just digging up everything. Or when we think about like cleaning out a pipe, it's just like coming down and scooping out all the dirty water before you can like actually start getting down into the pipe, or working down lower to dig all the gunk that's in the at the bottom of the drain. You just got to dig all that up. And just, back in the day, if you had a toilet that was backed up, there was this thing that you would put in and you would wind it so that it would unwind anything that was stuck down there in the toilet. And you just turn it around and around and around. And that's what the eclipse can be like, depending on which part of the eclipse you are experiencing the most. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I've been purged and cleaned and cleared emotionally and mentally and spiritually. And so I'm getting to the point where the eclipse is getting ready to move on. Thank you, eclipse. So grateful. But it is now the Libra's time. Thank y'all. I'm going to finish up my time. I'm not going to jump ahead of myself. Okay. I'm not crazy like that, because I do not want the eclipse to be like, oh, I'm not gone from Scorpio yet. So quit playing. All right. Don't you play with me, Tyra. But I'm definitely on the other side. And so one of the things that happened, because I want to talk about Jupiter, is the eclipses have been on my Jupiter. And I'm telling you, my Jupiter is about wisdom, my depth of insight, and being able to, like, I've always been wise. It's just a part of my astrology. It's a part of my destiny, wise, and didn't even know it. But this has been on some level that I'm just like, whoa. Even I'm surprised by what's coming through. I'm like, oh my gosh. Did that just come through for me in this reading or in whatever I'm sharing? This is amazing. And, Jupiter will help you to have perspective and insight. So it's kind of like all that painful stuff that has come up. It has given me so much insight, right? Well, the Jupiter in the sky right now is on my moon. And the other day I was walking and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having so much perspective about my life. It's like things that used to make me cry, I see them in a whole different way now. It's like, no, they don't make me cry. Like, I'm a better person because of it. And I really mean it. Because there have been times when I'm like, no, I can see the lesson I got from it. But when I think about it, I still feel pain. No, not with this. It's like, oh my gosh, I can see the world in a different way. When I go on walks, I look at the trees and the sky, and I'm just like, I'm so grateful. And I feel like I have so much more like vision and understanding, and all of this is helping to bring me more peace. But it's just this ability to see things from a higher perspective, reframe them, and it's just I feel happy. And when I was looking for Mars, I was like, what the world is going on? I was like, wait a minute, Jupiter is on my moon. So a lot of the insight that I'm getting from that is everything that I said before, but also especially around family. The moon is family. And I have had some sadness. It seems like the young people in my life um are it's just a little different, maybe because we weren't all raised up together. I used to go visit my aunts all the time. I would stay in touch with my aunts on a regular basis when I was younger. It just seemed natural in what I did, but maybe because I didn't live with my nieces and nephews and hang out with them all the time. They don't seem very interested in, staying in touch. And it's kind of like I have to just accept that. But it had been paining me. I was like, why? Why? I mean, I want this relationship with my nieces and nephews. And I'm just like, well, I accepted it, but I still had this level of, but I don't like it. But with this, it's kind of like, well, I don't know. I just feel okay. It's like everything is okay. Don't worry about it. It's not even just acceptance. It's beyond acceptance. It's like, I don't know. It just doesn't bother me. Things from my childhood, I can see them so much differently now. And I feel happier and have that perspective. And it's like your lesson, like your wound can become your blessing. It can become your lesson. That's where I am with this Jupiter on my moon. The emotional healing and well-being that I feel is incredible. And this is anytime Jupiter is gonna be right there on your moon, or for those who know astrology, it could be conjunct, it could be trine, or even sextile. Jupiter. Now, you want me to tell y'all something? This hit me too. Jupiter does really well in the sign of the moon. What is the sign of the moon? Cancer. Jupiter is what is called exalted in Cancer. And so it just makes sense that if Jupiter is interacting with the moon, that it could help you just have interacting with the moon in a positive way, especially. It can just bring so much healing energy. So much healing energy, especially, when it comes to the emotions. So just wanted to share this because I want to chronicle what it was like in case I ever need to remember to let someone else know. Astrology is the bomb. It can help you to understand so much about your life. This is Tyrone Milade. Thank you all so much for joining me here. Hope that this is beneficial to you in your spiritual and self-care journeys. Peace and love.